Well, looks like you can explore planets. Oh! The water reacts here. Okay, so that's step one where I think this is not No Man's Sky. Because the water reacts. Oh, you can find crash ships. I'm confused now. It might be the same thing. No, it's not making me fix anything. Okay, no, it's not the same. Well, combat seems about the same for both of them. So yes, today I'm going to be taking a look at No Man's Sky, or as I like to call it, Sean Murray's Lies. So today we take a look at No Man's Sky, perhaps one of the most hyped games in recent history of, well, video games in general. The game promised much, as did the creators and developers, and as we're seeing, it delivered on a very small scale. First of all, just a little bit of background. I was never part of the hype train. I understand that's one of the biggest disappointments of this game, is that there was so much promised and so little delivered. Personally, I was never part of that hype train, for two reasons mostly. One, I've had a long experience as far as getting games, playing games, and I know that the hype is usually never lived up to by the games. It's unfair expectations, and it really just clouds your experience of the game as a whole, so I tend not to give in to hype. I like to look at things for what they are, and honestly, that's saved me from quite a few mistakes as far as buying certain games. Now, the other part is that a lot of things in the hype didn't appeal to me. I didn't care if this game would have multiplayer. I didn't care if it would have, like, EVE Online levels of combat. If I wanted to play games that had that, I would play, say, EVE Online. I would play something that delivered what it said it would. Then again, I understand that necessarily the hype wasn't marketed towards me, and I'm willing to accept that. I understand my opinions are not the same, and if you are disappointed because the hype wasn't what you thought it would be, if the game didn't live it up to it, you are perfectly valid in saying that that is the reason why you dislike this game. Now, as far as how I look at it as an exploration game. A game you get to go around, explore, have fun, meet races, you know, do all this stuff, and explore a world that you didn't even know existed. To that end, I think the game held up fairly well. At least for me it did. So really, I'm looking at it for what it is, not for what it could have been. On one end, this means that I'm not going to be quite as sensitive to some of the issues that a lot of the people who are mad about hype issues would be. Now, on the flip side of that, it means I don't have that same bias, so this review might be a little more objective, say, than something else. So, that's where we're going to stick with that. Now, as far as dealing with the game as it stands, I think it can really be summed up in the phrase that it had a lot of good ideas that were executed poorly. It's a beautiful design, but an engine that can't really hold up to the design. I mean, you have so many issues with graphical errors. I'm pretty sure even in a couple places here, like in the video, you saw that one sentinel was stuck in the building and I couldn't get to it. Things like that. It had a great idea, but it didn't design it right. It's like missing chunks in Minecraft, or when the screen just completely falls away from you when you're in Assassin's Creed, and all of a sudden you're flying through a glitched ground. To go along with this, there's a lot of rinse and repeat gameplay. You tend to do the same things over and over and over again, looking for some kind of validating end that you don't seem to ever get to. Now, what this means is that it's OCD satisfying. You have planets that are full of anything you can categorize, hundreds of locations, animals, fauna, you know, minerals to mine. As a problem with, like, mild OCD-type tendencies, this game is going to be fantastic. You get to feel that satisfaction every time. Of course, that could also drive you insane. And to this idea, it has an interesting premise behind it. Premise. And it was a huge undertaking to create a game like this. What this means, though, is that while it failed now, these are good signs for the future. We are heading down a path where this may become more viable. Now, I have to admit that this game falls prey to the same criticism as would, say, Minecraft, Spore, Space Stage, as you can see from the beginning of this video even, and other storyless games. Like, there just doesn't seem to be any direction, and it's hard to kind of self-motivate in that case. The game, now I have to give it a little bit of crap, because it does seem to be as procedurally flawed as it is procedurally generated. Graphic errors with pop-in and pixelated terrain, it's constant throughout the game. You can't fly around a plant without seeing some of the terrain glitch in, seeing objects pop in right before you fly right by them. And honestly, it has an overall grainy appearance at times. Like, when you move the camera, when you look at certain objects, it just doesn't look fluid in like the space like you'd want to see. There's a lack of customization too, which means that you have ships that wind up looking like crap, and you can't do anything about it, but they're just better than yours, so you have to take it, which doesn't feel very fair to me. There's also a standard set of terrain and planets, which again, this is the rinse and repeat gameplay. You feel like everything is going to be the same as before. You don't really get that sense of, oh, I haven't done this before. So when it comes down to it, we need to decide, should you buy No Man's Sky? And it's a complicated answer. It's not really cut and dry. I would say yes and no. Yes, because it's a fun game, lots of potential to be developed, beautifully designed, addicting, and its near endless design means almost unlimited content, so honestly, it could be worth it. With enough patches and enough game fixes, if they can fix the graphical errors and if they can fix a couple of the runtime errors, then this game might actually be pretty good. I'm going to be the guy to say it. Now, that comes with a grain of salt, though, because those changes are most likely going to come behind a huge paywall, patches are probably going to come out as paid DLC, and in the meantime the game just feels unfinished. And there is a huge paywall to this game just to begin with at $60. This is, I will say right now, this is not a $60 AAA title. This game feels unfinished. It feels like a Steam Greenlight open beta game. Like, I've played games on the Greenlight that have felt more complete than this game. But, again, I'm leaving room for there to be changes. I have not lost total hope for this game yet. I have, like, around 20-some hours, I think, on the game, and I'm still having fun with it. But again, if you're in it for engaging combat, multiplayer action, and just the most mind-blowing experience you will ever have, then don't buy it yet. So, that brings me to my final verdict. Should you buy No Man's Sky? Yes, but wait until it's deeply discounted on a Steam sale around Christmas or summer, after there's been patches, graphical fixes, and a decent repair to the horrible PC port. And by then, you'll have yourself a pretty decent game that'll give you plenty of hours of fun, and one of the most impressive leaps in what I would say is developer, I almost want to say just like ballsiness. They got really risky with this. I applaud them for the undertaking, but I really wish they would have kind of followed through. It left me with a little bit of a taste of wanting more from this game and not getting it like everybody else. But I'm going to give them a chance. Even though Sean Murray has been inconsistent with everything, I'm going to give this game a chance. So to that end, I say yeah, buy it. But make sure you get it on sale. Do not buy this thing for $60. Wait until there's a discount. Anyway, that's all I have to say about No Man's Sky. I am To Grey Storm, and thank you for watching.